I'm going to win. Say it once. Feel it. Say it like you mean it. This video isn't for people who kind of want change. It's for people who are done waiting, done watching others get ahead, done wasting time. If that's you, stay here. Because when you say, I'm going to win, it's not just words. It's a new standard. It means you're done making excuses. It means you're finally choosing effort over delay, action over doubt, and growth over comfort. Inside this video, you'll learn how to show up with real focus, build daily habits that actually work, and take control of your mindset step by step. No hype, no noise, just the truth about what it really takes to win. Starting now. If you're ready to move forward, say it one more time. I'm going to win. Chapter 1. Say, I am going to win today. Say it today. Say it quietly if you must, or say it out loud where only you can hear it. I am going to win today. Not tomorrow. Not someday when conditions improve. Today. Those words matter more than most people realize because words shape how the mind prepares itself for action. When you say I am going to win today, you are not making a wish. You are making a decision. And decisions change behavior. Most people wake up and let the day decide who they are going to be. They check their phone. They react to messages. They carry yesterday into today. That is not winning. Winning begins when you take control of the first thought you allow to sit in your mind. Before the world asks anything from you, before problems show up, before fatigue has a chance to speak, you decide who you are today. You decide the standard. You decide the direction. I have learned over the years that people do not fail because they lack ability. They fail because they never clearly decide. They drift. They hope. They wait. Winning people do not wait for motivation. They create intention. Saying I am going to win today is a form of intention. It tells your mind to look for opportunities instead of excuses. It tells your body to prepare for effort instead of comfort. Now, winning today does not mean you will control everything that happens. Life will still bring delays. People will still disappoint. Plans will still change. Winning means you respond better than before. Winning means you stay disciplined when quitting would be easier. Winning means you keep your word to yourself even when no one is watching. That is how character is built. And character always beats circumstance in the long run. When you say I am going to win today, you are giving yourself a simple instruction: do not overcomplicate it. Winning today might mean getting out of bed on time. It might mean finishing a task you have been avoiding. It might mean speaking honestly instead of staying quiet. It might mean practicing patience when you feel irritated. These are not small things. These are the building blocks of a strong life. People often ask how confidence is built. Confidence is not a gift. Confidence comes from evidence. Every time you do what you said you would do, you give yourself proof that you can be trusted. That proof becomes confidence. Saying I am going to win today sets up that moment of proof. At the end of the day, you either honored your words or you did not. That moment of reflection is where growth happens. Your mind listens closely to how you speak to yourself. If you tell yourself, today is going to be hard and unfair, your mind prepares for defense. If you tell yourself I am going to win today, your mind prepares for action. You walk differently. You listen differently. You notice chances instead of problems. This is not positive thinking. This is directed thinking. It is intentional. I want you to understand something important. Winning is not loud. Winning is not always visible. Winning often happens in silence. It happens when you choose effort while others choose distraction. It happens when you keep moving even though progress feels slow. It happens when you stay disciplined without applause. Those quiet wins shape your future more than dramatic moments ever will. Each morning gives you a clean slate, but only if you use it. Yesterday does not get to vote on who you are today unless you invite it. Say, I am going to win today, and mean it enough to act on it. That sentence should influence your choices. When faced with a decision, ask which option matches the statement I made this morning. Winners align actions with identity. They do not separate the two. You will feel resistance. That is normal. The mind is wired to conserve energy. It will suggest comfort. It will remind you of past failures. It will question whether effort is worth it. That is not weakness. That is human nature. Winning today means acting even when resistance shows up, especially when it shows up. That is where strength is developed. I have seen people change their lives without changing their circumstances. They changed their daily standards. They stopped negotiating with themselves. They stopped postponing effort. They stopped saying tomorrow. They began each day with a clear decision. I am going to win today. Over time, that daily decision created momentum. Momentum is powerful because it reduces friction. Once momentum is built, effort feels lighter. Do not wait for big goals to feel motivated. Focus on winning the small moments. The conversation, the hour, the task, the habit. Life is not lived in years. It is lived in days. Days are lived in moments. Win the moments and the days will follow. Win the days and the years will take care of themselves. Pay attention to how you finish the day. Winners review. They ask simple questions. Did I keep my word today? Did I give honest effort? Did I improve even slightly? This is not about judgment. This is about awareness. Awareness leads to adjustment. Adjustment leads to growth. Growth leads to confidence. Say I am going to win today even when yesterday did not go well. Especially then. One bad day does not define you unless you let it. One good decision can shift the direction of an entire week. One strong week can change a year. But it all starts with today, always today. People who win consistently are not more talented. They are more committed to daily standards. They understand that success is built slowly. They accept that results lag behind effort. They do not panic when results are delayed. They stay steady. Steady effort beats intense effort that comes and goes. You do not need permission to decide to win today. You do not need perfect conditions. You do not need confidence first. Confidence follows action. Say the words, mean the words, act on the words. That is the formula. Simple does not mean easy, but it does mean clear. When you choose winning today, you are choosing responsibility. Responsibility is not a burden. It is power. It means your actions matter. It means your choices matter. It means you are not a victim of mood or circumstance. You are a participant. Participants shape outcomes. Over time, something interesting happens. The statement "I am going to win today" stops feeling like effort and starts feeling like truth. It becomes part of how you see yourself. And when identity shifts, behavior follows naturally. You no longer force discipline. Discipline becomes normal. That is real change. So say it again tomorrow and the next day. Not as a slogan, as a standard. Let that sentence guide your pace. Let it guide your focus. Let it guide your decisions. Winning is not about beating others. Winning is about becoming someone you respect, someone who shows up, someone who follows through. Today is enough. Today is where power lives. Say it clearly. I am going to win today. Then go prove it in the quiet ways that actually matter. Chapter 2. Decide winning is not optional anymore. There comes a moment in life when a person gets tired of giving themselves a way out. Tired of explaining why they did not follow through. Tired of saying next time will be different. That moment is powerful because it is not emotional. It is honest. It is the moment you decide winning is not optional anymore. For a long time, most people treat winning like a preference, something nice to have. If conditions are right, something to aim for when energy is high. That way of thinking quietly trains the mind to accept average days. It builds a habit of settling, and settling slowly becomes a lifestyle. Deciding that winning is not optional changes the rules you live by. When something is optional, you negotiate with yourself. You debate, you delay, you justify. When something is not optional, you act. You may not feel ready. You may not feel confident, but you move anyway. That is the difference between people who change their lives and people who stay stuck explaining themselves. This decision does not mean you will win every situation. Life does not work that way. This decision means you will no longer choose actions that move you backward. You will no longer tolerate habits that drain your self-respect. You will no longer accept weak effort as good enough. That is what not optional really means. Most people underestimate how much energy is wasted on inner arguments. The mind arguing with itself about whether to show up, whether to try harder, whether to stay disciplined. When winning becomes non-negotiable, those arguments stop. The mind receives a clear instruction. Do the work. Keep going. Finish strong. This clarity brings calm. Confusion creates stress. Decision creates peace. Once you decide winning is not optional, your focus shifts from debating to executing. You stop asking how you feel and start asking what needs to be done. That shift alone can double a person's effectiveness. Think about the areas of life where you already operate this way. You do not debate brushing your teeth. You do not debate showing up to important responsibilities. They are built into your identity. Winning becomes powerful when it moves into that same category. Not dramatic, just expected. People often wait for a crisis to make strong decisions. They wait until pain forces them to change. But the strongest people decide before the crisis. They raise their standards early. They choose discipline before desperation. That is wisdom earned through observation. Deciding that winning is not optional also means accepting responsibility for effort regardless of outcome. You may not control the final result, but you always control preparation, response, and persistence. When you own that truth, excuses lose their appeal. Blame loses its power. You become harder to shake. This decision will feel uncomfortable at first. Comfort comes from familiar patterns, even when those patterns are harmful. Growth requires friction. When you remove the option to quit, you feel that friction more clearly. But friction is not failure. Friction is evidence that you are doing something different. Pay attention to how you speak after this decision. Words change. Instead of saying I will try, you say I will do what is required. Instead of saying I hope it works, you say I will keep adjusting. Language matters because it shapes behavior. Strong decisions demand strong language. Deciding winning is not optional also reshapes time. You become more aware of how you spend hours. Distractions become obvious. You start asking better questions. Is this helping or hurting? Is this moving me forward or keeping me comfortable? These questions sharpen judgment. This mindset does not make you harsh. It makes you honest. Honest with your effort. Honest with your standards, honest with your potential. There is kindness in honesty because it respects what you are capable of becoming. Low expectations are not kindness. They are quiet limitations. Some days you will feel strong. Other days you will feel flat. The decision stays the same. That is the point. Motivation rises and falls. Commitment stays. When winning is not optional, you rely less on mood and more on structure. Structure supports you when emotions do not. Over time, this decision builds trust with yourself. You begin to see yourself as someone who does not walk away when things get uncomfortable. That self-image is powerful. People rise to the level of who they believe they are. Identity drives behavior more than goals ever will. You may notice resistance from others. Not everyone will understand your new standards. Some people are comfortable with options. Your clarity may highlight their indecision. Stay steady. You are not responsible for their comfort. You are responsible for your direction. Deciding winning is not optional does not mean you become rigid. It means you become resilient. You adapt without lowering standards. You adjust strategy without quitting effort. Flexibility paired with commitment is unstoppable. This decision also teaches patience. When quitting is removed, progress becomes the focus. You stop looking for quick exits and start building endurance. Endurance compounds. Small efforts repeated daily create results that intensity alone never can. At the end of the day, Ask yourself one simple question. Did I act like winning was optional today? The answer will be clear. Awareness without judgment leads to improvement. Improvement comes from repetition, not perfection. Life responds differently to people who decide. Opportunities show up for those who show up. Responsibility expands for those who can handle it. Confidence grows in those who keep their word. None of this is random. It follows principle. Deciding winning is not optional is not about pressure. It is about priority. You choose what matters most and you organize your actions around it. That clarity reduces noise. Less noise means more focus. More focus means better results. Do not wait for confidence to make this decision. Make the decision and confidence will catch up. Confidence is built through evidence. Evidence is built through action. Action begins with decision. You are allowed to expect more from yourself. You are allowed to demand better effort. You are allowed to stop settling. This is not arrogance. It is responsibility. Make the decision quietly if needed. Write it down. Remind yourself often winning is not optional anymore. Then let your actions prove you meant it. Not once, not occasionally, daily. That is how lives change. Chapter 3. Act like winning depends on today. There is a quiet danger in believing that tomorrow will fix what today avoids. People often live as if progress has an endless deadline. They delay effort because they assume time is on their side. Acting like winning depends on today removes that illusion. It brings urgency without panic. It creates focus without fear. It pulls your attention into the present moment where all action actually happens. When you act like today matters, you stop drifting. You stop postponing important work. You stop telling yourself that a better mood or better timing will arrive later. Later is uncertain. Today is real. Today is where discipline either shows up or disappears. Treating today as critical sharpens your choices. Most people underestimate how powerful a single day can be. One focused day can repair damage caused by weeks of distraction. One disciplined day can rebuild momentum that felt lost. One honest day can restore self-respect. Acting like winning depends on today is not dramatic thinking. It is practical thinking. This mindset changes how you start the morning. You move with purpose instead of delay. You prepare instead of react. You choose what deserves your energy. When today feels important, distractions lose their appeal. Scrolling feels heavier. Procrastination feels more costly. Awareness increases naturally. People often confuse urgency with stress. Urgency simply means clarity. It means understanding that what you do today carries weight. Stress comes from confusion and lack of preparation. Urgency comes from decision. Acting like winning depends on today creates calm because your priorities are clear. Think about how differently you behave when a deadline is real. Focus improves. Energy rises. Decisions become quicker. Acting like today matters creates that same intensity without waiting for pressure to force it. You bring seriousness to your effort voluntarily. That is maturity. This approach also builds courage. When today matters, you stop hiding behind planning. You take the step that scares you. You make the call. You start the work. You speak honestly. Courage grows through action, not thought. Acting today feeds courage tomorrow. There is something deeply empowering about finishing a day knowing you did not waste it. You may not complete everything that is not required. What matters is knowing you honored the day with effort. That feeling builds confidence quietly. Confidence grows faster from earned effort than from praise. Acting like winning depends on today also improves decision-making. You ask better questions. What is the most important task right now? What action moves me forward? What needs my full attention? These questions filter noise. Noise is the enemy of progress. This mindset reduces regret. Regret often comes from knowing you could have acted differently but chose comfort instead. When you treat today as valuable, you reduce those moments. You still make mistakes but you know you showed up with intention. That matters. People often say they want long-term success but live daily as if time is unlimited. Long-term success is built from daily seriousness. Not intensity every once in a while, but steady focused effort day after day. Acting like winning depends on today aligns daily behavior with long-term goals. This does not mean rushing through life. It means being present. Presence increases quality. Quality improves results. When you are fully engaged, even simple tasks carry meaning. Work feels cleaner. Effort feels purposeful. When today matters, excuses feel less convincing. Tiredness still exists. Discomfort still shows up, but they lose authority. You stop asking whether you feel like acting and start asking what is required. That shift changes everything. This approach also improves relationships. When you treat today as important, you listen better. You speak with more care. You show appreciation without delay. You stop assuming there will always be another chance to say what matters. Presence strengthens connection. Many people live with quiet guilt because they know they are capable of more but postpone action. Acting like winning depends on today dissolves that guilt through movement. Action is the cure for self-doubt. Each step taken reduces mental weight. There will be days when effort feels heavy. That does not mean the approach is wrong. It means growth is happening. Comfort rarely produces pride. Pride comes from effort given when it would have been easier to avoid it. This mindset also trains resilience. When you focus on today's setbacks feel smaller. You stop projecting failure into the future. You deal with what is in front of you. Handling one day well builds strength to handle the next. Acting like winning depends on today teaches respect for time. Time is not just something that passes. It is something you use. When you use it well, you feel grounded. When you waste it, you feel restless. Respecting time improves emotional stability. This approach does not require perfection. It requires sincerity. You show up honestly. You give what you can give. You avoid deliberate waste. That is enough. Consistency matters more than flawless execution. At the end of the day, reflection becomes meaningful. You do not ask whether the day was easy. You ask whether the day was used. That question builds character. Character shapes destiny more than talent. People who live this way carry a quiet confidence. They are not loud about ambition. They are steady about effort. They trust themselves because they see evidence daily. Trust grows through follow-through. Acting like winning depends on today also removes fear of the future. When you handle today well, the future feels manageable. Anxiety often comes from neglecting the present. Attention brings peace. You do not need to know how everything will work out. You need to know what the next responsible action is. Focus there. Progress is built one responsible action at a time. This mindset honors life. Life is not lived in someday. It is lived now. Treating today as important is a form of gratitude. You respect the opportunity to act. Make today count without pressure. Make today matter without drama. Just act with intention. Do the work that matters. Say what needs to be said. Finish what you start. Then rest knowing you showed up. Winning is not decided in the future. It is decided in moments like this. Act like winning depends on today because in many ways it does. Chapter 4. Train daily to prove I win. Winning is never proven by words alone. It is proven by what you do when no one is watching and nothing is being applauded. Training daily is how you collect proof. Proof for yourself first. Proof that your standards are real. Proof that effort is not something you talk about only when it feels good. Training daily to prove I win is not about competition with others. It is about closing the gap between who you say you are and how you live. Most people want the feeling of winning without the routine that creates it. They want confidence without preparation. They want results without repetition. Life does not work that way. Training is where identity is built. Identity is built through repeated behavior. Repeated behavior becomes belief. Belief becomes direction. Daily training does not have to be dramatic. It has to be deliberate. The mistake people make is waiting for motivation to train. Motivation is unreliable. Discipline is dependable. Training daily means you show up whether you feel strong or not. Especially when you do not feel strong. That is where growth hides. Training is not limited to physical effort. It includes mental focus, emotional control, skill development, habit practice. Any area where consistency improves ability belongs in training. Every day you either sharpen yourself or dull yourself. There is no neutral ground. When you train daily, you stop arguing with yourself. The question is no longer should I do this? The question becomes, how well will I do it today? That shift saves enormous mental energy. Energy saved can be invested in progress. People often misunderstand training. They think it means pushing at maximum intensity every day. That leads to burnout. Training means showing up with intention. Some days require strength, other days require patience. Both are part of winning. Daily training creates familiarity with effort. Effort stops feeling heavy. It becomes normal. That is when others begin to call you disciplined. They see results without seeing the routine behind them. The routine is where the real work lives. Training daily builds trust with yourself. Each completed session is a promise kept. Promises kept form self-respect. Self-respect creates confidence. Confidence improves performance. This cycle feeds itself. When training is consistent, one of the greatest benefits of daily training is emotional stability. When effort is part of your routine, moods lose control. You stop waiting to feel ready. You act because action is expected. Expected action reduces anxiety. Training also teaches patience. Results lag behind effort. This delay discourages many people. Daily training accepts the delay without panic. You understand that improvement is happening even when it is not visible yet. That understanding keeps you steady. Training daily removes entitlement. You stop expecting success without preparation. You stop being surprised by difficulty. Difficulty becomes part of the process. Acceptance reduces frustration. You do not need to train for hours. You need to train with consistency. Short focused effort beats long distracted effort. A small habit repeated daily builds more strength than occasional bursts of intensity. Training daily also sharpens awareness. You begin to notice small improvements, better focus, better control, better endurance. These small wins matter. They reinforce belief. Belief fuels persistence. People who train daily stop fearing challenges. Challenges become opportunities to apply what has been practiced. Practice reduces fear. Fear comes from lack of preparation. Preparation creates calm. Training daily is also an act of honesty. You face your weaknesses directly. You do not hide from them. You work on them. Avoidance weakens character. Confrontation strengthens it. This commitment will test you. There will be days when training feels pointless. Days when progress feels invisible. Days when skipping seems harmless. Those days matter the most. Showing up then separates serious people from hopeful people. Training daily builds momentum. Momentum reduces resistance. Once momentum is established, effort flows more easily. Missing days breaks momentum. Protect momentum carefully. It is hard to build and easy to lose. Training is also how you raise standards quietly. You do not announce change. You practice it. Over time, your baseline improves. What once felt difficult becomes routine. That is progress in its purest form. Daily training creates resilience. When life applies pressure, you do not collapse. You have trained under controlled stress. That preparation carries over. Pressure becomes familiar. Familiarity reduces panic. Training daily also improves decision making. You become more disciplined with time. You respect schedule. You prioritize better. Training requires planning. Planning strengthens responsibility. You may not always enjoy training. Enjoyment is not the requirement. Commitment as enjoyment often arrives after effort, not before it. Waiting for enjoyment delays growth. Training daily proves winning to yourself long before anyone else notices. That internal proof is priceless. External validation fades quickly. Internal confidence stays over time. Training reshapes identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone trying to improve and start seeing yourself as someone who trains. Identity simplifies behavior. Behavior becomes automatic. Training daily does not make life smaller. It makes life richer. You experience pride earned through effort. You experience calm earned through preparation. You experience strength earned through repetition. Some days training will feel easy. Do not become careless. Other days it will feel heavy. Do not become discouraged. Consistency matters more than feeling. Training daily also builds humility. You realize there is always more to learn. Always room to improve. Humility keeps you teachable. Teachable people grow faster. Winning is not proven by a single moment. It is proven by patterns. Patterns are built daily. Training daily builds winning patterns. You may miss days. Do not let missed days become missed weeks. Resume quickly. Recovery speed matters more than perfection. Training daily is an investment. The return comes later. Those who quit early never see it. Those who persist are rewarded quietly and steadily. Your training does not need approval. It needs commitment. Train when unnoticed. Train when tired. Train when unsure. Proof is built there. Over time, you will notice something powerful. You stop needing to say, "I win." Your actions say it for you. Confidence settles in. Calm replaces doubt. Strength replaces hesitation. Train daily to prove I win. Not loudly, not dramatically, consistently. Quiet proof always outlasts loud claim. Chapter 5. Show up expecting to win always. Every day you wake up, you face a decision. You can walk into your day just hoping to get by. Or you can walk in expecting to win. Expecting to win is not arrogance. It's preparation. It's clarity. It's knowing you've built yourself for this moment. And you're not here to play small. The way you show up to life determines what life hands back to you. If you walk in unsure, life reflects that. If you walk in expecting things to fall apart, you often find what you expect. But if you walk in with the decision already made that you're going to win, you carry a different energy. That energy changes how you move, how you talk, how you handle resistance. You don't shrink when things get hard. You step forward. You can't fake this expectation. It's built through how you live, the way you wake up, the way you prepare, the way you speak to yourself before the world speaks to you. You don't show up expecting to win because someone said you're good. You show up expecting to win because you've trained, because you've studied, because you've done the work when nobody was clapping for you. That work becomes your reason to believe. You don't need hype. You need proof. And you earn it daily. This mindset isn't about thinking everything will be perfect. It's about knowing you're built to handle whatever isn't. You don't walk into your day blind. You walk in with eyes wide open and head held high. You expect to figure it out. You expect to adapt. You expect to keep going when others fold. That's what winners do. They don't only expect easy wins. They expect themselves to rise no matter how tough the situation gets. Think about the way most people start their day. They roll out of bed, check their phone, scroll for a while, maybe complain about how early it is or how tired they feel. That's not preparation. That's passivity. That's how you train your brain to coast through the day, hoping for things to go your way. Winners don't hope. They decide. They walk in knowing they've got something to bring to the table. They set the tone instead of reacting to it. You've got to build that inner standard that says, today is not going to own me. I'm going to own today. That belief isn't loud or dramatic. It's steady. It's built on showing up when you don't feel like it. It's built on finishing tasks you used to quit halfway through. It's built on saying no to distractions because you're more interested in results than entertainment. When you show up expecting to win, you act differently. You don't let small problems pull you off course. You handle them and get back on track. You don't waste time explaining yourself to people who aren't doing the work. You don't make excuses. You find solutions. You don't ask, what if it goes wrong? You ask, what do I need to do to make it right? That kind of focus is rare because most people are stuck waiting for the right time to feel confident. They keep hoping for a day where everything lines up and finally they'll feel like taking control. That day doesn't come unless you make it come. Expecting to win is how you make it come. You have to move first. Confidence follows action. You don't wait for the feeling. You create it. This isn't about pretending life is easy. It's about knowing that no matter what comes your way, you've got what it takes to face it. That belief becomes a foundation. You stop panicking when things get tough. You stop doubting yourself when people don't believe in you. You stop asking for permission to grow. You stop playing small to make other people comfortable. Every time you walk into a room, walk in knowing you have value. Walk in knowing you are allowed to aim high. Walk in knowing you are allowed to aim high. Walk in knowing you've done the work or that today is your chance to start. You don't need to prove anything to anyone but yourself. Winning starts when you prove to yourself that you're done hiding. And this isn't just for big moments. This is for everyday things. The way you walk into school, the way you start your shift, the way you approach your workouts, the way you speak to people, the way you treat your own time. Show up with purpose. Don't show up to pass time. Time is too expensive to waste being unsure. Start expecting things to go well. Start expecting progress. Start expecting opportunities to come, and when they do, expect that you'll be ready. That mindset turns pressure into fuel. It makes problems feel smaller. It makes hard work feel worth it when you expect to win. Effort feels less like a burden and more like a tool. You've got to carry yourself like a winner before the win even happens. That's what creates the win. If you keep waiting until you feel successful to act successful, you'll wait forever. But if you start showing up like you believe in your own future, life will start to meet you halfway. That's not luck. That's alignment. That's when your actions match your ambition. There's a difference between wanting to win and expecting to win. Wanting is passive. It sounds nice, but it doesn't change anything. Expecting is active. It shapes your choices. It keeps you grounded. It doesn't mean you get everything you want instantly. It means you keep showing up with the same energy even when results take time. It means you don't stop just because progress is slow. You're allowed to walk in like you belong at the table. You're allowed to expect better for yourself. You're allowed to raise the bar and keep it there. But you don't earn that with just words. You earn it with how you show up. Not when it's easy. Every single day. That consistency builds proof. That proof builds confidence. That confidence builds results. People who expect to win still face setbacks. But they don't turn those setbacks into identity. They use them as information. They adjust. They keep moving. That's what you need to do. Stop seeing obstacles as signs you should stop. See them as reminders that you're doing something worth working through. You don't need to be perfect to show up expecting to win. You need to be honest. Honest about your work, honest about your effort, honest about your attitude. That honesty will take you further than talent ever will. Walk in today with your head up. Speak like someone who's going somewhere. Move like someone who's already becoming who they said they would be. Expect progress. Expect effort. Expect growth. And most of all, expect to win, because the way you show up will determine how far you go. Chapter 6. Prepare each day to beat yesterday. Every day is another chance to grow. Not just to repeat what you've done before, but to raise the standard, to prepare with a mindset that says, I can do better than I did yesterday. That approach to life separates those who stay stuck from those who rise steadily. When you prepare each day to beat yesterday, you create a pattern of progress. It's not about being perfect. It's about showing up with a little more purpose, a little more clarity, a little more hunger than the day before. Most people go into their day trying to survive it. They hope nothing too stressful happens. They try to keep up. That's not how you build anything worth being proud of. Beating yesterday doesn't happen by accident. It happens when you plan for it. When you wake up and already know what needs to be done. When your priorities are clear. When your distractions are handled before they get in the way. Preparation isn't just about writing a to-do list. It's about mentally stepping into the version of you that refuses to stay the same. It's about being honest with yourself about how you performed yesterday, what you avoided, where you gave less than you could. Not to feel guilty but to do better. That kind of reflection builds self-awareness, and self-awareness leads to improvement. When you prepare to beat yesterday, you stop competing with other people. You don't need to watch what someone else is doing when you've already got a clear goal for your own growth. You stop being reactive. You become intentional. Your energy goes into building, not comparing. This mindset also protects your time. You stop letting little things steal your focus. You don't have space for everything. If you want to grow, your time has to be directed. Preparation allows you to see where your time is wasted and where it needs to go instead. That shift in awareness gives you control back. You begin the day differently. When your mission is to improve, you don't let tiredness decide your effort. You don't let mood dictate your pace. You take charge, not out of pressure, but because you respect yourself too much to coast. And it's not just about doing more. It's about doing what matters more deeply. Preparation helps you prioritize what pushes you forward. Some people stay busy but never grow because their time is filled with low-impact habits. Beating yesterday means doing the right things with more focus, more speed, and more heart. That also means reviewing the little moments, not just the big wins or losses. Look at how you spoke to people. Look at how you handled delays. Look at how quickly you got back on track when you got distracted. Growth hides in those small spaces. When you prepare with that in mind, you raise your awareness and change your patterns. This mindset requires discipline, not just desire. Discipline is what makes you look at the calendar the night before and ask, where can I be better? It's what makes you get up early to have time to think before the noise begins. It's what helps you say no to things that don't fit your purpose. You stop waking up hoping things go well and start waking up ready to shape the day. Eating yesterday doesn't mean being hard on yourself. It means refusing to settle. It means saying, I know I've got more in me and I'm going to reach for it even when it's uncomfortable. That kind of attitude doesn't just build results. It builds character. Preparing each day also gives your life structure. People who lack structure often live in chaos. They're always rushing, always putting out fires, always feeling behind. But when you prepare, you're calmer. You start moving before the pressure builds. That's a different way of living. And that structure gives you space for recovery, too. Growth isn't about working non-stop. It's about being smart with your time. Rest is part of beating yesterday. As long as it's earned. When you've shown up fully, rest feels deserved. It feels like fuel, not escape. Preparation is how you earn momentum, and momentum is what makes growth feel smoother. Without preparation, every day feels like starting over. But when you end each night with a plan and start each morning with a mission, you carry energy forward. That's how small improvements turn into big changes. People sometimes say they feel stuck. That's often a sign they're repeating days instead of improving them. If every day looks the same routines, same effort, same problems, then life feels flat. But the moment you start chasing better, everything shifts. Even a 1% improvement wakes something up in you. You feel progress. And progress builds fire. It's easy to avoid this mindset. Growth requires effort. It requires honesty. It's more comfortable to say, I'll figure it out later. But every day you delay is a day you don't get back. That's not a dramatic statement. That's reality. And once you understand the value of a single day, you treat it with more seriousness. You don't have to make giant leaps, but you do have to move. Each morning, ask yourself, how can I improve one area of my life today? Maybe it's focus, maybe it's patience, maybe it's speed. Pick something real. Then build your day around that improvement. Not loosely, not casually. With full attention, you'll begin to feel stronger. Not just physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Because when you know you're getting better, even slowly, your confidence rises. You stop second-guessing yourself. You stop fearing change. You become someone who can handle life better because you've trained for it. And this isn't about chasing perfection. You will still fall short some days. That's normal. That's human. But even in failure, you learn. And learning beats repeating. You adjust. You bounce back. You show up again. That's what preparation gives you. The power to keep moving no matter what yesterday looked like. So prepare with purpose. Lay your clothes out early. Write your goals the night before. Set your alarm with meaning. Start your mornings without rushing. Know what matters before the day begins. That level of order creates strength. That strength creates freedom. You don't have to change your whole life at once. You just have to prepare each day with the mindset of someone who refuses to be average over time. Those small daily wins build a life that feels aligned with who you want to be. And that life doesn't come from talent or luck. It comes from preparation that's done with intention. If you want more, you have to plan for more. If you want progress, you have to act like it matters. Stop wishing and start preparing. Let each morning be a new challenge. Let each night be a quiet review. Beat yesterday, one focused day at a time. That's how the best lives are built. Chapter 7. Focus actions on winning, not feelings. Most people live at the mercy of their emotions. They wake up and wait to see how they feel before they decide what kind of effort to give. If they feel motivated, they move. If they feel tired, they slow down. If they feel discouraged, they hesitate. That way of living builds inconsistency, and inconsistency kills progress. If you want to win, you can't live based on how you feel. You need to live based on what needs to be done. Focus your actions on winning, not on feelings, because feelings change fast. Actions are what move your life forward. You can't afford to wait until you feel right to do what's right. Winning is built on routines, not moods. It's built on showing up on the days when everything in you wants to pause. It's built on keeping promises to yourself, even when your energy is low and your mind is filled with doubt. Every time you act through the resistance, you build mental strength. Every time you choose progress over comfort, you reinforce discipline. That's what turns effort into identity. You don't win by reacting to emotions. You win by directing your actions. Your body doesn't care how you feel. It follows what you consistently do. Your goals don't care if you're inspired. They respond to consistent execution. The scoreboard doesn't measure your mood. It measures your effort. If you want results, you need to take ownership of your habits, not your emotions. This doesn't mean you ignore your feelings. It means you don't obey them blindly. It means you feel what you feel but act based on values. You can feel discouraged and still take the next step. You can feel stressed and still do the work. You can feel doubt and still choose progress. That's the kind of strength that separates people who stay stuck from people who grow. You've got to build a system that works even when you don't feel like working. That system comes from structure. You set a time to wake up and you honor it. You set a time to train and you show up. You schedule time to study, create, or build and you protect it. Not because you feel like it, but because that's what someone who wins would do. And when you repeat that pattern often enough, something powerful happens. You stop relying on emotion to guide your behavior. Your actions become anchored to your standards. Standards are how winners live. Not high one day and low the next. Not productive when they feel confident and lazy when they don't. Steady, clear, grounded. When you set a high standard and hold yourself to it daily, it starts to feel natural, not forced, expected. That's when you begin to separate from the average. Average people make decisions based on feelings. Winners make decisions based on vision. What do I want to build? Who do I want to become? What kind of habits would that version of me practice? Then they act in alignment with that vision, no matter what their mood says. That's how winning is built. In the moments where you choose your future over your feelings, you can't build confidence if your actions are always changing with your emotions. Confidence comes from trust, and trust comes from consistency. Every time you act with discipline when it's inconvenient, you strengthen that trust. You show yourself that you are not controlled by doubt, laziness, or fear. You prove that you are in charge of your direction, and that proof becomes belief. You're going to have days when you don't feel ready. Days when the excuses feel more convincing than the plan. Days when the comfort of quitting whispers louder than the reward of staying in the fight. That's exactly when it counts most. That's when you need to remember that feelings don't produce results. Action does. Train yourself to start even when you don't feel ready. Train yourself to move even when the mood is missing. Train yourself to deliver on your commitments. Whether you're excited or exhausted, that kind of training rewires how you operate. You stop being a person who waits. You become a person who moves. The difference between growth and regret is how often you take action in spite of emotion. Anyone can work hard when they're motivated. Anyone can give effort when things are easy. But real growth shows up in the effort you give on the days you want to give up. That's what builds momentum. That's what builds grit. You've got to choose discipline over comfort, clarity over confusion, decisions over delay. Winners don't ask, "Do I feel like it?" They ask, "What needs to be done?" That shift in focus eliminates 1,000 excuses. You don't waste energy debating with yourself. You just get to work. This mindset isn't harsh, it's empowering. You stop waiting for inspiration to strike. You create it through action. You stop living based on hope. You build momentum through execution. You take control of your day instead of letting your emotions run it. Think about how much time is wasted waiting to feel right. Waiting to feel ready. Waiting to feel ready. Waiting to feel good enough. That waiting turns into weeks. Those weeks turn into years. Don't live like that. Start before you feel like it. Move before your brain has time to talk you out of it. Build before you think you're ready. The results will come when the action becomes your focus. Progress doesn't happen on the good days only. It happens when your actions stay consistent regardless of the day. That's what brings freedom. Knowing you can trust yourself to follow through no matter what life throws at you. That's how you build inner strength. Remind yourself that feelings are not facts. Just because you feel tired doesn't mean you're finished. Just because you feel uncertain doesn't mean you can't start. Just because you feel fear doesn't mean you should stop. Let feelings pass through, but don't let them direct the ship. Anchor your actions in the work that matters. You don't need to feel perfect to take the first step. You don't need to feel motivated to stay disciplined. You don't need to feel brave to move forward. What you need is a decision, a clear decision that your goals matter more than your temporary emotions. Each time you act with that decision in mind, you grow stronger, not just physically or mentally. You grow stronger at being the kind of person who shows up no matter what. That's the kind of person who wins over time. That's the kind of person who can face anything. So don't let emotions choose your pace. Let your purpose guide it. Let your values shape it. Let your commitment define it. Feelings will come and go. But the results you build through consistent action will stay with you. Build the habit of showing up whether you feel like it or not. And one day you'll look back and realize that's exactly how you want. Chapter 8. Choose effort that leads to winning. Winning doesn't come from just working hard. It comes from doing the kind of work that actually moves you forward. Every day people spend hours staying busy. But not every hour builds something. If you want real progress, you have to choose effort that leads to winning. That means being honest about what you're doing, why you're doing it, and what it's actually creating in your life. Not all effort is equal. Not all action is meaningful. The effort you choose matters, and it needs to be aimed at growth, results, and personal evolution. It's easy to fall into the trap of doing what feels urgent instead of what matters most. You answer messages, you scroll, you check things off a list, but you're not moving closer to the goals you care about. You feel exhausted but not fulfilled. That's a warning sign. That's how people stay stuck. Choosing the right kind of effort means stepping back and asking yourself, is this building something real? Is this strengthening me? Is this helping me become who I said I wanted to be? Effort without direction drains you. Effort with purpose builds you, and you are the one who decides which it's going to be. The clock is ticking either way, so you might as well make your time count. Ask yourself before you start anything, is this a distraction or a decision? Is this comfort dressed up as productivity, or is this uncomfortable but necessary for where I want to go? The truth is, real effort doesn't always feel good. It's not the effort that keeps you safe or entertained. It's the kind that stretches you, the kind that challenges your patience, your focus, your discipline. It's the kind that forces you to be honest about your weaknesses and then do something about them. It's the workout that burns, the conversation that's uncomfortable, the project you've been avoiding, the routine you need to stick with even when your motivation disappears. Effort that leads to winning is not random. It's specific. It's targeted. It's thought through. You don't just do more. You do what matters more. You stop doing things just because they're easy. You stop doing things just because you're used to them. You start doing things because they move the needle, because they make you sharper, because they demand your best. It's not about perfection. It's about responsibility. You don't have to get everything right. But you do need to be real with yourself about where your energy is going. Wasted energy on the wrong things robs you of time you can't get back. And over time that creates a gap between your potential and your results. That gap will either frustrate you or wake you up. Let it wake you up. Choosing effort that leads to winning means saying no more often. Not because you're rude, but because you're focused. You don't chase every opportunity. You pursue the right ones. You don't say yes to every distraction. You protect your goals. You don't let guilt or fear decide what you give your energy to. You let purpose decide, and that purpose has to be clear. You can't aim effort at a blurry target. You need to know what you're working toward. Define it, write it, speak it, remind yourself daily. Because if you forget what you're building, you'll start putting effort into things that don't matter. People will pull at your time. Your emotions will try to take over. Life will throw noise at you. But when your purpose is solid, you'll stay steady. Effort becomes powerful when it's consistent. One hard day won't change you. One focused morning won't build the life you want. It's the repeated act of choosing the right kind of effort over and over. Even when no one's watching, even when it's boring, even when you feel behind, even when you doubt yourself. That's the kind of effort that compounds. That's the kind of effort that builds winners. Winners don't get lucky. They get focused. They build habits around the actions that matter. They don't wait until they feel like doing it. They don't let their schedule be shaped by moods. They show up whether it's fun or not because they know that consistency beats intensity. They know that steady pressure builds strength, and they know that every day of choosing smart effort is a day that moves them closer to their next level. You have to take full control of what you give your time and energy to. That means looking at your habits. Look at how you start your morning. Look at how you use your breaks. Look at how you end your day. Are these habits building you or draining you? Are they helping you win or keeping you stuck in loops that never change? This takes honesty. It's not about judgment. It's about awareness. When you become aware of what's wasting your energy, you can take that energy back and redirect it. That's when growth happens. Not from hustle alone, but from alignment, from effort that's in sync with your highest goals. And yes, this means you'll have to get uncomfortable. You'll have to do things that stretch you. You'll have to admit when you've been hiding behind fake effort. You'll have to stop looking for shortcut. But what you get in return is worth it. Self-respect, real progress, and the peace that comes from knowing you're living like the person you've always said you wanted to become. No one is going to do this for you. No one is going to make your choices. No one else feels the weight of your goals like you do. That means it's on you. That's not pressure. That's power. Because if it's in your hands, then you have the ability to change it, to grow it, to build it. So from this moment forward, ask yourself every day, where is my effort going? Is this effort leading me closer to the results I want? Is this task, this choice, this focus aligned with winning, or is it just making me feel busy? Is this action hard because it's challenging me or easy because it's familiar? Train yourself to answer those questions honestly and then adjust. Make effort count. Make it strategic. Make it productive. Not just hard effective. Not just constant intentional, because when you stack days of the right kind of effort, the world starts to shift. You get better. Your life gets better. Not because you worked more, but because you worked smarter. You worked with purpose. You worked with direction. Choose effort that leads to winning. Not effort that makes you look busy. Not effort that keeps you tired and stuck. Effort that pulls you forward. Effort that sharpens your mind, your habits, your focus. That's the kind of effort that turns goals into reality. That's the kind of effort that builds winners. One choice, 1 hour, 1 day at a time. Chapter 9. Keep promises because winners keep promises. When you make a promise and follow through, something changes inside of you. You build trust not with the world, not with your friends, not even with your audience, but with yourself. That trust is the foundation of confidence. That's how winners are built. They say something and they mean it. They decide something and they act on it. They commit to something and they finish it. Winners keep promises because keeping promises is not about sounding good. It's about becoming strong. You don't need to announce your promises. You don't need to post them. You don't need to explain them. You just need to keep them quietly, repeatedly. That's what separates people who grow from people who repeat the same cycles year after year. People say they want to be disciplined, confident, respected. But those things don't appear from nowhere. They are built day by day through the process of keeping small personal promises. It starts simple. You tell yourself, I'll wake up at 6. If you do, you win something small. If you don't, you tell your brain that your words don't mean much. That damage is invisible, but it's real. Every broken promise lowers your internal respect. Not in a loud way, but in a way that slowly chips at your identity. Eventually, you start believing you're the kind of person who starts and stops, who talks big, but follows through when it's easy, not when it's hard. That's the mindset that leads to regret. On the other hand, every time you follow through, even if it's uncomfortable, you build proof. Proof that you can trust yourself. That proof turns into belief. And belief is what fuels long-term progress. When you believe yourself, you don't need outside motivation. You don't need to feel ready. You don't even need to have the perfect plan. You just need to decide and move because you know that if you said it, you'll do it. Most people think confidence is something you're born with or something that magically appears when things go right. But confidence is built in quiet moments when no one's around and you still choose to do what you said you'd do. It's built in the evenings when you're tired, but you still finish the task. It's built in the early mornings when it's cold and you still get up and train. It's built when you choose alignment over excuses. Keeping promises has nothing to do with being in the mood. It's about being committed. Winners don't need everything to be perfect to act. They need one thing, their word. When they say it, they act like it's already written in stone. That doesn't mean they never struggle. It means they fight for what they commit to, even when it's inconvenient. If you've been breaking promises to yourself, that doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. But now is the time to change it. Not with a big announcement, not with pressure, but with a simple decision. One promise at a time, one action that matches the words you said. You don't need to rebuild your life in 1 week. You need to restore the habit of following through. Make your promises small enough that you can't lie to yourself. Don't say, I'll change everything tomorrow. Say, I'll do this one thing, and I won't back down. And then do it. Let that be your win for the day. Stack those wins. That's how you rebuild integrity. Not the kind that other people measure, but the kind you feel deep inside. The kind that shapes how you walk, how you speak, and how you show up when life gets heavy. This also applies to how you show up for others. When you say you'll call someone, show up when you commit to a project. Deliver. When you give your word, protect it. Why? Because every promise you keep teaches you discipline. Every promise you keep teaches others how to treat you. People start to believe in you, not because you're loud, but because you're consistent. You'll notice something else. The more promises you keep, the fewer excuses you make. That's because your brain starts to rewire. You stop looking for exits. You start looking for answers. You don't waste time defending why you didn't do something. You spend your time doing it. That shift in energy multiplies your focus. There will be days when keeping your promise feels like too much. You'll be tempted to quit halfway. That's where identity is tested, not when it's easy, when it's inconvenient. Winners know that the days they want to quit are the days that count the most. That's when you prove you're not built on hype. You're built on habits. The best part is that keeping promises doesn't require talent. It doesn't require perfect timing. It doesn't even require external resources. It only requires that you stop negotiating with yourself. You stop saying maybe later. You stop saying I'll try. You start saying I'm doing this and that's final. Then you move. Eventually it becomes part of how you live. You stop seeing it as discipline and start seeing it as normal. You don't need to force it. You become the kind of person who just doesn't break their word. That changes how people respond to you. But more importantly, it changes how you respond to yourself. You stop second-guessing everything. You move with direction. You operate with conviction. People chase success thinking it's about massive effort. But most success is hidden in the quiet decision to keep doing what you said. Especially when no one else will know if you break it. That's where real strength is built. That's where real transformation happens. You don't rise by making perfect decisions. You rise by making honest ones and standing by them. So if you want to feel stronger, if you want to build something you can be proud of, then treat your word like a contract. Let your promises be real, let your actions match them. That's how winners are built. Not by noise, but by personal accountability. Start with one promise today. Make it simple, make it doable, then deliver on it, not because you have to, but because you said you would. And from that moment forward, raise the standard. Keep going. Keep proving to yourself that your word means something. When you live that way, you don't just chase wins. You become someone who earns them every single day. Chapter 10. Finished days knowing I moved closer. There's a certain peace you earn when you finish your day knowing you moved forward. Not that everything was perfect. Not that every task went as planned, but that you made progress, that you didn't waste the day, that you did something, even small, that pushed you closer to the person you're becoming. That peace is earned, and it's one of the most powerful feelings you can carry into the night. Most people go to bed overwhelmed or distracted. Some scroll their way to sleep, numbing the feeling of incompleteness. Others overthink, running through all the things they didn't get done. But it doesn't have to be that way. You can build your days in a way that allows you to rest with clarity, not chaos. And that starts with one decision: to stop measuring your days by perfection, and start measuring them by progress. Moving closer doesn't mean finishing everything. It means staying intentional. It means staying connected to your goals throughout the day instead of drifting. It means you didn't let the day just happen. You shaped it. You took ownership of it. You said, here's what matters. And you followed through in the ways you could. Every day has weight. You either use it or lose it. Time doesn't stop. But progress isn't automatic just because the clock keeps ticking. You've got to be clear about what matters to you, or your time will be eaten by things that don't. That's why finishing strong starts with starting smart. You don't drift into meaningful days. You build them. It starts early before distractions come in. Before people need things. Before you give your energy away to everything but yourself. Take a few quiet minutes and ask yourself, what would moving closer look like today? Make it clear. Make it simple. One habit, one goal, one promise. Then keep your focus on that. Don't make it 1,000 things. Don't overcomplicate it. Simple keeps you moving throughout the day. Come back to that. Remind yourself. Redirect when needed. Life will throw curveballs. That's guaranteed. But the goal isn't to control the day. It's to control your response. You can't plan everything, but you can keep showing up with purpose. And every time you choose action over avoidance, you move forward. Every time you lean into discomfort instead of hiding from it, you grow. Every time you follow through instead of stalling, you build momentum. Progress is built in these small but real choices. When you send the message you've been avoiding, when you stay focused an extra 30 minutes, when you say no to something that would have derailed your energy, it's not just what you do, it's how you do it with intention, with follow-through, with clarity. When you start living like this, the end of the day becomes something different. It's not a moment of guilt. It's a check-in. It's a reflection. You ask, did I move today? Not in a rushed or pressured way, but in an honest, grounded way. Because when you live on purpose, you don't need to run from the evening. You look forward to it. That's when you collect the wins. That's when you notice the growth. Some days the progress will be big. Some days it will be almost invisible. But if it was honest, if it was real, it matters. Some days you'll be sharp. Some days you'll struggle. But if you cow up when it was easier not to, you won something that can't be measured on a checklist. You prove to yourself that you're not built on convenience. You're built on commitment. Finishing strong doesn't mean being exhausted. It means being fulfilled. You don't chase burnout. You chase better. You prioritize the things that build you, not just the things that keep you busy. It might be your health. It might be a relationship. It might be your mindset. Whatever it is, give it something each day. That investment compounds slowly at first, then visibly. You can build this habit even if you've been scattered. You can build this routine even if your schedule is full. All it takes is a decision. You can live reactively or you can live intentionally. The difference shows up at the end of the day. One way leads to guilt and confusion. The other leads to clarity and momentum. If you want to grow, you can't just aim high. You have to finish grounded. And grounding comes from effort that's tied to purpose. That kind of effort brings you peace, not pressure. It brings you closer, not just busier. Before you sleep tonight, ask yourself the real questions. Did I do something that made me stronger? Did I say something I was scared to say? Did I stay true to what I said mattered this morning? You don't need to have perfect answers. But you do need to ask because questions lead to awareness. Awareness leads to change and change done daily leads to results that last. What you don't want is to keep ending your days feeling further away from yourself. That's where regret builds. That's where potential fades. And the truth is you don't need to make giant leaps to move forward. You just need to refuse to stay still. The days you move closer, even just a little, are the days you win. Stack enough of them and you wake up months from now realizing how far you've come. Not because of some massive one-time effort, but because you chose not to waste the days in front of you. So, finish your days with intention. Look back and know you didn't let yourself down. Know you used what you had. Know you grew even if no one else saw it. Because real progress is personal. It starts in your choices, grows in your habits, and shows up in how you carry yourself over time. You don't need applause to prove you're moving. You don't need validation to keep showing up. You need your own honesty. You need your own review. You need your own peace. And that comes when you stop living for perfection and start living for alignment. Finish your day knowing you gave what you could. Finish your day knowing you stayed connected to your direction. Finish your day knowing you respected your time. That's what winning feels like. And you don't get it by accident. You get it by living like every step counts, because it does. Every step forward matters. Every day you move closer is a day that builds something permanent.